Right. So what I wanted to ask each of you, I chose pink because it best suited me. And the reason I say that to each of you is because have a think about what color is really motivating you. Yeah. And when I looked at the color pink, it was very, very soothing for me. And I decided that my first presentation is going to be pink. And when I look at the color pink, it really is about love and happiness. So have a think about what you're drawing yourself to. The other thing is, and I know they're in fashion, but I started dressing up in more green. And I kept on saying to my clients, I'm living green, I'm clean, I'm mean, I want to be seen. So I made all that thing, and Sue's laughing. And it's like, my husband said, what do you think you are, a tree trunk? And I don't know whether to take that as a compliment or not. So I'm just going to the next slide. So what I want you to think about, and I want you to use, today's really going to be about you joining in, where you're writing, it's your first day of February, what does it look like? Is it going to be finding time for me, more exercise? Does anyone want to drop 5 kilos? And the reason I get a minimum of 5 kilos, when we've actually shifted a minimum of 5 kilos, our organs start to dance. Our organs are reduced with the fat that's hanging them down. I said to my younger sister, stop telling me that you've got a muffin top. I'm concerned what the muffin top looks inside, where your organs are actually in pain and saying, can you give me a bit of a break? And are we going to go to bed early? That's a conscious effort I made this year to actually stop what I'm doing and just enjoy my evening, really cut everything off at 8 o'clock, not answer emails, even though my boss just said to me, oh, Susan, after you finish this, I want you to look at some products and tell me what you think. And I said, no. And he goes, what do you mean you've never said no? But this year I'm learning to say no. So I invite each of you to think about it. And the other thing is starting a group, what have I written on? Starting a group to connect with others, form your tribe. A tribe isn't made up of people you don't feel comfortable with. You're allowed not to feel comfortable. And I say that to you because just as your cells, you make them feel comfortable with tissue salts, your intuition will tell you who you would like as part of your group. I started my walking because my goddaughter on Christmas Day said, let's set ourselves up a challenge. Let's set ourselves up with a challenge. So let's set ourselves with a challenge, Susie, and why don't we write to each other at the end of the day with a picture of how many steps you've done. So it just propelled me to, she's only 18, and I thought she probably thinks this 61-year-old hasn't got it in her. And every day when I'd send her the thing, she said, oh my goodness, Susie, you've still got it. And I said, I never want to lose it. So that then propelled her as well. So what does tomorrow hold for you? Remember, it is all up to you what happens. Change the flow of your day. We cannot change personality types. We cannot change the DNA. But it's like, what can you change to maintain your flow? And what I'm also asking you to think about, when someone's upsetting you, what stops you from getting up and going for a walk or pretending you need to get a cup of tea? Break the chain of negative energy in the month of February. And I love this because it's like, let's paint our year with the colors that we want painted. Yeah. And the way to get started is to quit talking and begin today. So I want you to ask you to write down right now what it will be that you will do from today for the next 4 weeks that you're going to challenge yourself with. Will it be that you reduce your coffee? Will it be how many steps do you want to set up on your walking meter, your pedometer? What is it that you want to do for the month, and what is it that's holding you back? Yeah. And I love this as well. What the new year brings to you will depend on what you bring to the new year. So it's all about us. We've got no one to blame. Of course, there'll be people holding you back. You know, the other day, my husband said, I don't see much of you. And I said, I haven't been happier in ages. I'll see you when I come back from my walk. But, you know, we've got to learn what suits us as well. As, you know, this isn't a year that I'm as accommodating as I've always been. I'm starting to also say, no, I can't do that presentation. I can't fly to Sydney this month because I've already got 2 more plans. I'm trying to be as sustainable in the way I live my life as much as the products that I use. So how are we contributing to improving the life and giving back to nature as much as how we improving our health? And I realized this year, I don't want to just be supporting longevity. I want to be supporting vitality. So I want us to keep ourselves as vital as possible and to live a healthy and happy life. What's the use of being 70 and you've actually got all these ailments? So let's step into our vitality and longevity will come. But without vitality, we don't have much really. So in this slide here, I've got this year, break a bad habit. And I wrote here, try a 3-day or a day break fast. Write a letter to someone you love, learn a new skill, try a month of no alcohol, take a risk. And I'd like you all to write down now, what is a risk that you're going to take by the end of the week? Have a think about it. What's a risk that you would like to take? It might be saying no to someone, might be cancelling something. What is there a risk? Try a new tissue salt. I know with myself, I really stick to the same tissue salts. Have a think about observing a bit more of yourself and what's the tissue salt that might assist you. Forgive someone who has hurt you, write them a letter. And in forgiving someone, you're not forgetting what they've done. You're forgiving it, you're forgiving and letting go so that their pain doesn't drag you down. And make yourself a priority. So in this useless session of the masterclass, by selecting a tissue salt that you're going to take 4 times a day, I want to also invite you to make yourself a priority, especially if you're a parent. Instead of saying, like a lot of my clients will say, no, they're my priority. They cannot be a priority if you cannot stand and be happy in your 2 feet because you'll drag down the whole family. So I liked this when I saw this slide with all the coloured pencils, and it was really made me happy. Did you know that we generate new cells that line our stomach walls and intestines every 5 days? So how good is that? So the nat phos in particular, with the nat salt, will actually restore this. Brain cells need kaliphos and magphos. Your liver needs nat salt and your skin needs silica. So what's the body system that you want to focus on this time on the 1st of February onwards? What is it that's bothering you the most? It's not that we shouldn't focus about everything that's going on. Let's focus on what it is that needs our attention that we're forgetting about. I really liked when I wrote, it all begins with yourselves in 2023. We can all discover our inner rainbow when we feel comfortable in our own body. It's as basic as sleeping well, eating well, and feeling well. Our body being made up of trillions of cells, and start respecting everything about you. What will you continue supplementing with, and what will you give up in 2023? I'd love to share with you that Martin and Pleasance have purchased a new company last year that's been around for a long time called Green Nutritionals, and I started taking all their marine omegas, their green omegas, and I started taking astaxanthin and algae, microalgae that's prepared in fresh water in the US and packaged here in Australia as a really potent antioxidant. And I really wanted to bring forth this year, in this new world that we're living in, even though we're saying that there's no more COVID, How are you preparing for the cooler months this year? What's your immunity up? And when we speak about ferrum phos as the key tissue salt to have in our cupboard, for any time we get a tickle in the throat, whenever we're not feeling as oxygenated as before, and phos really knocks everything down, but I still need a potent antioxidant. The minute I walk outside my door, I'm actually taking the free radicals that are doing damage to my skin structure. And when Sandra gave me the compliment, there's something that I've noticed in using the organic formulations, plus the tissue salt that I always love using, silica in particular, in the but I have added astaxanthin, and astaxanthin has 6,000 times more potent than vitamin C, about 800 times more potent than coenzyme Q10 and so forth. But I'm happy to speak privately to you or send you something on astaxanthin. But I'd like to invite you to consider supplements that are as natural as possible, and I'm really focusing on plant-based supplements in particular this year. So I'd like you all to write down what is your awesome foursome, what are the 4 tissue salts that you love, and I'm going to go around the group now. How about you, Sue, that you share with me first? Hi, Jackie, how are you? So can you all unmute yourselves? Is that right?
Sorry, Susan.
That's all right. So Sue, we're starting with you.
Right.
What are the 4 tissue salts that you are propelled with of late?
Well, I absolutely love the sleep formula that you make up for me.
Oh, that's lovely. That's
yeah,
lovely.
I can't remember the different things that are in it.
Yes.
But it's absolutely fantastic. I can't believe what a difference it's made.
Okay.
I used to have something to help relax my muscles with my muscle issues and so on, and then have done that for years. Started the sleep formula. It's got some bark flow remedies in as well, I think, but the tissue salts, it's got a few different ones that you made up for me.
Yes, that's right.
And it's just, I just can't believe it. It's just wonderful, absolutely wonderful. It consistently gives me a good night's sleep. Just every once in a while, I have a little struggle with a night's sleep, but it's every once in a blue moon. It's not like
beautiful. And I know that you've always loved, Sue, the combination 5, which has got the 5 phosphates when we started you with tissue salts.
Oh, 12, COM 12.
COM 12, you like all 12 of them. And I just want to highlight the importance of combination 12, and it's a good time in February to jump on combination 12 because you've got all the minerals bringing the restoration at the cellular level, and then by the 1st of March, reevaluate and see specifically which tissue salt you may like or the few. And people say to me, but why only select 2 to 3? Because you're not going to remember to take them throughout. I'm now going to ask Val and Sandra to share with me. If you can just unmute yourself. Sandra, what's your awesome foursome?
The focus in the morning.
Yes.
And COM 5.
Yes.
I have it around the home, so I have it next to both of those things are next to my bedside table. And then things downstairs, and then I've just been taking, I don't know if this is correct, but the dentist has told me I have is it a carie, like that I might need a filling, so I've just been stomping on the calcium one. I don't know which one it is.
Very good. So if the bacteria has gone in, it'll stay at the surface. You're not going to get it really, really deep. I think it'll stop the cavity from spreading. Yeah. But it won't get worse. Does that make sense? A bit like arthritis, and people say, well, all my arthritis go away. We're going to stop it from spreading to the point that it's not getting worse, so you're going to be more comfortable in your body. I'm not allowed to say that all your arthritis will go away, but if people can stop cancer continuing to grow in the body. It's amazing if we change our cellular matrix, what can happen to the day-to-day living. So Sandra, would I say that a year on date, like since January when I met you, that the tissue salts have played a really big role in your life and they've brought a bit more calm?
It has, but I definitely would say in the holidays it was a bit harder with the kids at home because I had a routine. So when I get up, and because we were getting up at different times, I feel like that was a little bit harder. But as soon as I was starting to get back into routine, where I know they're going to get up now today, they went back to school. I know that that's just going to fall all into place. And
Very
and the
good.
other thing is, whenever I would take Com5, my puppy would come and get it too. My puppy would still take one as well.
Wow, I love
He
it.
just jumps on the bed and just wants one as well, because I know animals get affected as I get affected, especially the ones that are.
They pick everything up.
The older one doesn't seem to be wanting it. I think she's just used to me. But it's like, oh, okay, she's crazy. I'll have some too. Give me some Com5.
Oh, I love it. You're amazing, Sandra. Val, tell me hello, Val, Happy New Year.
And to you, yes. Look, being a Leo, I do the mag phos. It's, good standby. The nerve 5 phosphate, nat sulf, and I leave the other one open. Often it's, calc phos, but it might be silica. It just depends what I need, and then I work out what I need for the other one.
I love what you've just said, because you make them part of your everyday living. So calc phos regenerates new cells. So if ever you're thinking, how are my cells going? Calc phos is the key mineral to continue the growth of new cells and so forth. But did you see that Val has them around her house? And so I might take a bit of silica. Let them be part of your life rather than thinking, do I take a bit of this, bit of that? You will be led. Of course, we know when we need to take silica and so forth, but knowing that silica also helps our calcium absorption. So many people, I'm encouraging everyone move to a marine calcium that's also balanced with the trace minerals. And if you want to know more, I'll send you some more information about the green calcium that I recommend. But taking silica with any calcium, I don't care how good the calcium is, it'll actually drive it into the cell matrix and it'll allow you to absorb all calcium from your diet and your supplements. So that's the missing link. So many people are taking collagen. So many people are saying, oh, this is the best collagen. Without silica, you're not going to drive the collagen deep into the cell matrix.
And regarding the colour, you talked about colour motivation.
Yes.
I'm doing a biography, sort of looking back at my biography and using coloured pencils instead of just information. So
I love that.
Yeah, no, I'll send you some info on that.
Please, please. And for those who haven't met Val, she every year organises my astrology, and she's amazing. So Val allows me to share her details. I will. So she always shares with me what's coming up, and I make use of her expertise. So Val, thank you for bringing that up about the coloured pencils. Mary, tell me what your awesome foursome are.
Hi,
Mary. Happy New Year.
Thanks you, and thank you very much for my special little gifts that you sent me.
Good.
I wanted to say thank you, and my awesome foursome, which I also get Valerie, because she's very, very in tune with a lot of your tissue salts. Yes. I sometimes go through her to help confirm with me what I'm going through in the moment, and then I just sort of go with the flow, like with what you're saying, leave it around and just know what I'm feeling in the moment, and I just take it. Like I've been really, really loving the nerve 5, the Com5, when I'm being a little bit stressed. When I feel my body's being weak and I'm drained and I'm tired, I go for the Com12. I'm also started taking the silica. Because I've lost my hair and I feel like my skin's not like it used to be, and so I started taking that not long ago.
Well,
Yeah,
I love what you've just said, but what I'd like people to know that silica is great for our hair and skin, but stress is what also causes our hair loss along with iron. So they're the three things for women that I always say, instead of just taking something for the hair loss, what Mary's also taking is the combination 5 that strengthens the nervous system that will stop the hair growth. So Carlifos, a combination 5 plus the silica, and I also recommend the Weleda. It's a beautiful hair oil called rosemary. But for those people who know how much I love Weleda, every time you have a shower, you just massage it over the night before, and it's just rosemary oil, and it actually regenerates new growth on your scalp.
actually, that's what I'm also been doing, because Valerie recommended the rosemary oil too.
Oh, good on you, Val.
Yeah, but I didn't know about the Weleda. I've just been using the pure rosemary oil.
Yeah, that's just as good.
Yeah. All right, thanks.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Thanks.
So, Mary, would I be able to say that your awesome foursome is rosemary, combination 5, you've got some combination 12, and you leave, which is the other one, silica?
Yeah, I do sometimes take the Mag Foss when I feel
Yeah.
like my joints are aching, but Mag Foss has been unbelievable. I really am a great inspiration to a person to share with people out there, that when I've had hip surgery 10 years ago, and if I ever feel the joint pain, I take the Mag Foss, and it really does help. But I haven't had to have it as much now. But yeah, Mag Foss is really good. So I wanted to say, it's
Fabulous.
been great product. Thanks so much.
Thanks,
Cindy.
Mary. And that leads me to speak about combination 5 and extra Mag Foss. A lot of my clients will take combination 5 throughout the day, and before they go to bed, they'll have 4 to 6 Mag Foss. And when they wake up, they have 4 to 6 Mag Foss. So even though it's in the combination formula, I always say you can add that to it. Thanks, Mary. Jackie, Happy New Year.
Oh, Happy New Year, Susan. It's lovely to be here. Sorry, I was a bit late.
No, that's all good. What's your awesome foursome,
And
Jackie?
I follow I'm still on the Comb 12 and also the Comb 5 for the nervous system. And I take the silica, and then the other one is the combination T, just to make sure my immune system keeps up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Jackie, because you've got the combination 12, what I say sometimes that we've always talked about, that's got everything in it. Yeah. So even if you double the dose, but what you might find is once you finish the combination 12, you may then for 2 weeks or a few weeks just go on the combination 5 and the combination T, because that's got 7 of the 12 that you've already taken. So you're doubling up, if we do the 12, the 5 and the T, everything that you're taking. So I would keep the T in the first aid cabinet, that if you do get a tickle, you would take that combination T every 30 minutes until you started to feel better. And the combination 5 is purely, it's already in the combination 12, but you might take extra of that if your day has more stress in it.
Yes, that's what I'm doing.
Beautiful.
It's sort of combination 5 as needed.
I love that, Jackie. And what else are you taking, Jackie, that you love?
I love to take the focus and the calm. And I do have a question, because sometimes I get mixed up. Do I need a focus or do I need a calm? Or can you take them together?
I love that question.
And I take the sleep as well.
Okay. Now then, like what I realized when I was formulating the focus, even though we feel that we need more calm, if we had more focus, we'll get through the day. So instead of thinking that you're not calm, it may just be that you're not focused on one thing and you're feeling overwhelmed. So when I formulated the focus, and I still never leave home unless I spray, remember the focus spray's got the B12, and you spray focus under your tongue a few sprays under your tongue because of the B12. That is really there for when we feel overwhelmed. We need the confidence to complete, that we feel that we're complete. So the focus to get through. So, you know, like my aim this year is to be like last year relevant, but I'm saying I want to be nutritionally relevant. I've worked with 30-year-olds. They're over 31 years younger than me, and they're so good at the computer. They're great at everything. So I have to make sure that my focus doesn't really, because there's always this new things. I get phone calls, I get asked questions. So rather than, it's not that I'm experiencing no calm, I need to focus and be alert. So whenever we need to be more alert, we need the focus spray. I always love having the calm spray around, because someone could come in, or our partner or our part of our family or our dog becomes unwell, and their anxiety really sways us. And it's not that we just need focus, but we can give them some calm. But there's parts in our day that we may need calm, but calm gets confused with focus. And I would rather be, when we have focus, we've got a lot more calm. Does that make sense?
That does, that answers that. Thank you
So
so much.
The sleep is really good. The sleep is really good because in the sleep, we've got the agramine in there as well, which means you take your mask off in that sleep formula. And what I love about that, it's different to any other sleep formula. And it's really, all those three formulas are really for this new world that we live in. It's not just that we need rescuing, we need to actually have better focus, more calm, and improved sleep in order to get through this new life. You know, the interest rates are going up, and I really feel for all these young people who've just bought, I know my niece has just bought a place and so forth. Now, their anxiety levels will be through the roof, thinking, can I maintain my home and so forth. So that's real anxiety, and that's the calm needed. And I said to her, you need the focus in order to maintain your job, and stop going to your boss and saying, I need more money, because you're not just going to get money, unfortunately, because the pricing's gone up. I wish it all worked like that. Is that a bit clearer for you, Jackie?
It is a lot clearer.
Beautiful.
And I appreciate that input. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Hello, Sophia.
Hello, how are you?
Good. Happy New Year. Now, what's your awesome foursome?
My awesome foursome is Ferrous Foss, Mag Foss, the Cali Foss, and I don't actually have a fourth one.
And that's why today's good. Now, do you need more hydration or?
Oh, no, sorry, I made a mistake. It is not Cali Foss, it's Nat Mur. Because I'm a dry person.
Yeah, dry person.
Yeah, and I got that from you the previous webinar. Yeah, my excessive dryness. So yeah, so it the Nat Murs, but I don't have a fourth one. But probably after tonight's webinar, I will have a fourth one.
Yeah, so maybe write to me, but something like a Nat Sulf is a good one to have at this time of the year, because it gives the liver a really lovely little cleanse, but it actually creates healthy bile to break down fats in our body. So we need healthy bile in order to maintain good health. And Nat Sulf is known as the liver remedy, but the pathway, you know, like my sister had a gallbladder out and she's wondering why on earth she actually put on 10 kilos. The doctors will never tell you, but it's because the liver, the spleen, everything has to work harder when one of its best friends has been removed. It's not just about let's remove organs and you'll be fine because it's too fatty. Where will all that fat drop into? So people who have reflux, you know, build up their overeating, or they just need a nice liver flush. Nat Sulf goes really well with Nat Foss.
Great, thank you so much, Susan. That's probably quite timely because I did have my bloods done and my cholesterol was sky high. But I have had COVID and I am, so, and I do have a high fat diet, which I'm all I do agree with, as in, you know, the types of fats that everyone knows about: the coconut fat, the avocado, the nuts. So I'm working with that as well.
So everything in moderation. I'm just going to open this door, and it's not that I'm going through menopause, but it's a bit hot. And we've got no one in the office, and we've got no one. So when we're talking about cholesterol, we all have been, I don't know if you've ever all, or some of you have taken this, you've known me, I'm really big on the beta-glucans that you buy in little sachets, and they're like little oat hearts. That will break down cholesterol and reduce your cholesterol. What I spoke about, and I can privately write to you, astaxanthin's known to reduce cholesterol as well, and the nat salt is your trinity in that. And when we talk about good fats, everything in moderation. Please still soak. You should only be eating walnuts, and everything else needs to be soaked. And you can't be activated or eat activated nuts if your cells aren't activated. So only a few of everything rather than eating good fats. I've got someone who eats 3 punnets of coconut yogurt. That's far too much, just because it's a good fat. Does that make sense? It's a lot of protein. So the natural world can bite us back as much as the synthetic world. It's a bit like people who have too much kale. So you've got to change it up a bit. You know, I've got a friend who's vegan, and she says that every night she must have kale and hummus and so forth. And I say, but that's not enough for you. You need to change it up a bit.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, Sophia. Anne.
Hello, everybody. Happy 2023. Susan, this is always so inspirational, even though, as some of you may know, I work with Susan at Martin and Pleasance, and everything that she talks about, like, I live it every day, but I still learn so much. I love it. Just love it so much. So Susan, my go-to at the moment is in the car. I do have my General 12 tonic.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was having the Magfos tabs, but I've actually moved to just using the cream because just with all this extra walking and activity and everything, I've just noticed my calf muscles have just been a little bit more tender. So I've found that the Magfos cream has been more direct to the area that I needed it, rather than just taking an overall tab.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
You've got the Magfos in your combination 12. And
yes.
and what else are you going to add? Like, when you, like, combination 12 is fine to take. I want you to use that as
a
your
general.
main.
So as part of this whole menopausal journey, Andy, you've heard us talking about this a little bit. As part of that, I've actually developed a bit of eczema. So I have been doing the ComD. Hi, beautiful. So I have been using the ComD, and I was going to ask you, Susan, is the ComD better than using the Kali Sulph as it's on its own?
Yes, it is, and that's a really good question. Always go for the combinations, because Kali Sulph is a skin salt, and we need to know that the second phase of Kali Sulph is when we have green mucus. It's used in infections. But by using the combination D, we've put together the 4 tissue salts that actually build new skin cells.
Fabulous.
Get rid of the dryness, take the itch away. So combination D, if you've actually, and it really does go well with that Harmony Menopause, because a lot of women's skin changes and they haven't increased the way they're living with their fats, because their doctor said to them, you've got a fatty liver. So they do everything skin. And I say no to any, low fat, because there's still quite a lot of sugar built into that. But our skin does dry up. So the idea is to really keep, bathed inside and outside. And Anne just mentioned about the magnesium cream. I've been going out with sandals, and the interesting thing is, it's interesting what women look at, and they're looking at the soles of my feet. I don't normally look at them, and they said, oh, look at you, you've got young soles of your feet. And there hasn't been a night that I don't apply, and in the winter I put socks on, but it's been a bit hot, that I don't put kelp fleur on my feet.
Yeah.
So I have the really, and I don't notice them because they feel as soft as, but I never underestimate the power of these herbal, the tissue soft creams.
Yeah.
And I still use them as a hand cream and so forth. I always get comments, but your feet are as important as your hands. And as we're speaking about more exercise, your feet are going into socks, into runners. They're being exposed, but we need to also think about our feet as much as we're thinking about our skin on our face, because you don't want to actually have cracks in your feet that can get infected and so forth. And as we get older, our skin does harden. And I've found that something as simple, and sometimes what I have been doing, I'll even get some evening primrose oil, and I always put that in my smoothies, and I'll just mix that in with a little bit of our kelp fleur cream, and I'll just apply that to my feet. So the
good suggestion.
Or
good suggestion. Yeah.
The evening primrose oil is quite good, but. And what other supplements are you
Well,
taking?
you've just touched on the kelp fleur, because that's also, as you know, my go-to. I love that. But I was also just thinking about what you were saying about foods and supplements, and the astaxanthin is my new best friend. I'm loving my astaxanthin, mainly as an antioxidant, because I have been relying heavily on my blueberries, but I feel like I'll look like a blueberry soon. But when we're looking at food for our antioxidants, I feel like I'm also having a lot of extra sugars in my diet, and that's also irritating my skin a bit. So having the astaxanthin is certainly helping there. And the other thing, this time, or actually last January, last year, I decided to have an alcohol-free time. That is now over a year ago. I haven't had it, haven't wanted it, haven't looked at it, haven't missed it. So I'm on a new journey. This is a whole new me. Yeah.
Well,
so
I really love that. And you know, I speak about the plant-based supplements, and it took Martin and Pleasance to buy green nutritionals for me to take a bigger look at it. I was taking omega-3, but it wasn't, it wasn't a green one from the algae. I wasn't getting the
absorption.
I wasn't getting that one. So what I might do is, when we're sending the little, I'll send you pictures. And what Andy's organising for me today is that everyone who's come, and these are my little group that I absolutely love. Hello, Joanne. And it's not about how many join. It doesn't have to be a large group, but everyone gets treated really well with the masterclass, because I'm with Andy. And what we're doing is, he'll send some pictures, and we're giving away a few things with everyone who buys one thing. So he's going to let us on Friday do a little bit of a picture and things like that. But I'm going to send you a picture of the astaxanthin, so you can actually all have a look into it. And I suppose I started taking antioxidants, and I've always been on coenzyme Q10, and vitamin C is still very important to take. But to actually take a plant-based vitamin C as well has been mind-boggling, because we're so used to just taking any standard, but a good vitamin C. But this is actually made out of this trinity of plants. And do you remember what are the plants in that vitamin C that we now have?
No, not off the top of my head. I'm sorry, Susan, because I've still got I've got NSC in my brain. But what I was going to say about that too is that I was blown away that yes, astaxanthin is 6,000 times more effective than vitamin C, but you still need to take vitamin C.
Yeah, I made sure I asked Mark, who was the owner, and he said that it still boosts your immunity, but you need the strength of an antioxidant to actually add to your vitamin C. So vitamin C on its own is no longer carrying us in this new world.
Yes.
in this
and I think Susan too, that it's just interesting when you said, you know, a little bit of everything and everything in moderation. It's so true, because we don't get just one thing from one product. We need to look at this combination. So having your awesome foursome, having your trinity, having, you know, I love your language, but it's so true that we know that there has to be that combination for our bodies to be able to get the full benefit.
Yeah, and we're learning new things all the time. So, for example, I've never taken certified organic camu or the boab from the boab tree, or the organic acerola. So we've got a vitamin C made with that, and it's been quite, I've not felt this good in a very long time. Like, I've always, of course, been healthy and so forth, but I'd like to always be relevant. And this year for me, it's being nutritionally relevant and sharing what we need rather than what we think we need. And in this new world, with all these disease states, and when we're vulnerable, if we've had COVID, you know, I've had people who've had COVID more than once. You know, the residue that lives in our cells invites the disease state back in. So our aim is to regenerate, replenish, and say no to disease states coming in. Of course, we can all catch a cold and may get COVID again, but it's how long it lasts in our body. Have you noticed some people get through COVID in 3 days, and some people can't move for about 6 weeks? So we need to actually keep our bodies and mind as strong as possible. And it's not that we're not going to allow disease to come knocking on our door. It's what happens once the disease enters our door that says, you know, how strong we are. I actually had someone say to me, "You've had COVID, but you didn't know you had it." Now, they can't understand that I've never had it. Now, my thing is, because I made sure that I took the kefir, and we've all done that, and the tish salt, so forth, I've lived in places with people, not my husband, but I've visited and so forth. I've had to help people. And of course, I've worn a mask, but I haven't lived with COVID inside my body now, and I've traveled quite extensively. So my thing is, we can actually strengthen our inner input to make sure our output is as strong. So again, it's not everyone gets the same form of COVID, but why would you let COVID harbor in or have a place in your body for a long time? Our aim would be to do prevention so we can actually knock it out a lot quicker. So when we become unwell isn't the time when we stop. We need to be setting ourselves up today to make sure that we do not get knocked about. So, you know, taking all the supplements and supplements that are actually nutritionally relevant for this time in your life, where you are in your life, is so important, because you're coating and you're building and you're inspiring the inner you to actually protect you. Because that's what, every time you swallow something that's backing you, you're preparing yourself with your internal armor so you can stay well. We know what vitality does for us. We know that when we're not feeling well, how we feel. But let's not give up a day that we shouldn't give up. You know, by inspiring ourselves to say, you know, I can go for that walk, or I'm going to add this supplement, I'm going to add this extra tissue salt, I'm going to take time tonight to put this cream on my hands and feet. You're doing it for a better tomorrow. And it's so important when I speak about the better tomorrow. Today belongs to us. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but I don't want to be broken down into pieces, because I love what I'm doing. Okay, Joanne, can you share with us today on your awesome foursome? Hello, Joanne.
Sorry, I'm having a few technical difficulties.
That's okay, Joanne. What tissue salts do you take? Happy New Year.
Hi, Happy New Year. Look, I always take the general, and then Mag Foss I find just gives me like the best night's sleep. Yeah, I'm sorry I missed the start of the meeting. I completely missed the email, so I've missed the first 40 minutes. But they're
all
the
right, I'll send it to you.
thank you. They're the two that I take regularly, and I just find if I keep them in the car, it's just I just don't forget then, and the kids have them as well, and it's really good.
Fabulous, fabulous. And what's another one you're going to be introducing in February, Joanne?
Well, I think silica's one that I need to. I think in the meetings last year when we did that face, when you looked at all our face, I think you said silica's a good one for me.
Yeah, fabulous.
But,
Remember, it helps to absorb your calcium, and we call it the cleanser.
Yes, that's right.
It's got a number of jobs.
The sweeping broom, yep.
Fabulous. I'll just go on to the next. Thanks for sharing.
Thank
I'm
you.
just talking about my staple food here. And my staple food is very much, I have these wild blueberries now, which are frozen, and I'll make smoothie. I always have kefir in the house. I always have dates and apples. And I can't stress enough, and Sandra is reminded by me, as is Jackie and as Sue, that I know that you never leave home unprepared. So when I was going for my walks, or when I started back at work after having a long time off, I made sure that those dates were put in my little container, plus the apples the way I like them cut. And I have some walnuts, or make your little pack that you've always got something in your handbag or around, so you're not going to actually eat convenient food. You're going to have nourishing food on a day-to-day basis. And you can actually see when you nourish, you will flourish. But if you don't nourish, you're not going to flourish. So our food and the jigsaw that it creates within us is as important. And what I find is that I walk past, when I buy a coffee, if I'm having my coffee, and I'll always have my birchroot muesli in a jar and so forth, I'm always prepared. So just as we're prepared for tissue salts, I'd love you to start your day. If you're going somewhere, whether it be up to the shops, or you're going to work, or you've got something at your child's school, have something in your handbag that you can nibble on that will actually get you from point A to B, so you can actually have your main meal and enjoy it, rather than stopping and getting something that isn't alive. Our aim is to eat as much live food as possible, as we've already know that one. So in many ways, it's like saying, paint your dreams in your mind in 2023. Everyone sets goals and many don't come to fruition. I encourage that you set small, achievable health and personal goals that are achievable, so you can continue believing in your dreams. Can we all spend just 30 seconds now and just write one thing or little thing that you want in February? Like, I encourage everyone to think about, I am worthy of good health. And even stipulating I'm worthy of good health, it's like, what is a goal that you would like to set for the month of February? That goal belongs to you, and it's really good that you put it in writing right now. All right. So with the goals, just remember, that it's all about whatever you put down. So I think I shared with you in the morning when I brush my teeth, I do the A to Z of gratitude. You know, I'm grateful for my abundance and so forth. But I'd like you even put down a goal that for the month of February, I will be taking kelp, whatever tissue salts belong to you. And what is it that you'll also be doing? Will you be walking 5,000 steps? Now, the other thing is about setting affirmations, and I speak about that. And even though we're speaking about tissue salts, in being worthy, I am worthy of good health, that will add in that every time you walk past a tissue salt or your supplements or good food, that whole thing of I'm worthy of good health will keep going through your brain that you deserve it. Rather than saying, I can't be bothered to swallow another thing today, you're actually building yourself up right now until if we've got 28 or 29 days in February ending, 28 this year. So we've got 28 days. And what I'd love us to do is really make a concerted effort on what we're going to do for these 4 times 7 days. Now, if you've had a bad day, if your day doesn't work out your way, you've still got another 27 days and then 26 days. So what I'd like you to do at the end of every 7 days, reassess where you are, keep a journal, and maybe share with the group which tissue salts surprised you. Like maybe you've just added, and we seem to all be taking combination 12. Combination 12 is great to take, but it's Dr. Schuessler believed that you needed to be more specific. So combination 12 is a great one to take, but I would move, after you've been on combination 12 for a few months or a month, I would then go more specific. You may want to take a combination 5 regularly with 1 or 2 other tissue salts. So the idea is to build your health based on where you're at right now. Because sometimes we feel we're the same as we were 3 months ago, but everything about ourselves has changed. So what I'm asking you to think about, what will you do from this day forward until the end of February that will reshape you to the best version of yourself so you can actually build a new you. So even though last year I was pretty active, I never did a whole 4 weeks of close to 10,000 or more steps. And that was how I changed the color of my year, by just increasing my walking. I always do take the tissue salts, and I've added astaxanthin, but ask yourself, what will this month hold for you? And the other thing that I said at the start of my session is, if you're feeling upset or overwhelmed by people around you, there's nothing wrong from you just saying, oops, I forgot I need a cup of tea right now. Or you may remove yourself if you're in a cafe or something and you're feeling overwhelmed. If there is a phone call that's really derailing you, just say, oh, I must actually dash, I may have to call you back. Do not be that person who accommodates, because as a lot of people, and I heard it spoken by another naturopath, we forget when we overuse our brain cells, when we overuse our nerve cells, because a lot of people are caught up in a lot of stressful jobs, stressful homes and so forth. We're using up all our magnesium, all our potassium and so forth. We need to put it all back in order to be able to cope with this whole new world. Our world has changed on the inside out, and I want you to really make a concerted effort that this February is about you. No one else, of course. The happier you become, the happier your household. Yeah? Beautiful. Are there any questions? Oh, good. Hello, Sue. Do you want to say a question?
Yeah, I just missed that when you were talking earlier about the cholesterol. What was that called? Beta
glucans, BETA, and it's another word, GLUCANS. They're sold in pharmacy, or I don't think health food has it. I've just got this now. I'll get the proper. And they come in 30-day sachets, and they're just called beta-glucan, BETA. Hold on. we can sachet. They come in a box. Of course, you can buy, and they're just called BETA
Yes.
GLU Care, Better Glue
Oh, right.
Care, and it's in a like a mustard color box.
Yeah. Yep.
And they come with about 30. They're high in fiber, and they come in 28 sachets. You just carry one of those sachets. You can either add it to your breakfast, or you just eat it like that, like a snack, and drink plenty of water.
Yep, that sounds great. Thank you,
And
Susan.
that works in with the nat salt to reduce cholesterol.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. I do take berberine, but I think the system can get used to things after a while.
Does,
so
and this is
I'd like to try
food.
something.
This is a food. So let's try to find foods that can do the same job, that we're not overtaxing the liver.
Yep. No, that's fantastic. Thank you so much, Susan.
I'm glad you joined us. Any other questions?
Very happy. Yeah, very happy to be here. Thanks.
Very good. Are there any other questions? I'd love to hear how you go. Please email me. I'll send an email. Can we have an email? An email, and I'll send you some information that I've got, that I've prepared on why I'm taking the astaxanthin. I'd like you to find out about that vitamin C. And Andy's actually going to organise. He's told me that we've got, he's going to give everyone the collagen boost protein powder who's joined today when they put an order in. And this is got a pea protein, vitamin C, aloe vera, beta carotene, and vitamin E. And it's a collagen boosting protein powder that you can actually add to your, it's a vegan base that you can actually add to your smoothies.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
But Andy will organise something for me on Friday that I can share with each of you. And I hope that has been a really good, a lot of you know all about the tissue salts, but it's about amplifying them and maybe using the creams as well, or trying the sprays. You know, sometimes I encourage people, because we've been out of the tissue salts, to either move to a combination or a spray until we get it in. Unfortunately, we've had a few problems in getting as many. They're really growing, and a lot more people are finding out about them. And we've got a very busy lab who still makes them by hand. And they're going to the UK and Canada. So I just think during COVID, people needed to find a new way of really getting into the cells and activating the cells. So a lot more people who never knew anything about cellular health have come on board and have actually joined the tribe. And, you know, we've got a lot of products now, and the good news is that Schussler continues, and you're all going to get my newsletter. And it's my 33rd year since I first took my tissue salt in January, and I took Carlifos and silica. And I woke up this year and I thought, you know what, 33 years ago, tissue salt saved my life, because I wasn't who I was now as a very anxious school teacher that couldn't sleep. And it just allowed me to come to my body. Never, ever did I think that I would still be at Martin and Pleasance or Aventic Martin. So because of tissue salts, I've built my whole life around them. So it's amazing. Yeah. So thanks, Jackie. Thank you very much. If there's any questions, please ask them or email me, and I'd be happy to answer them. And I'm really grateful to seeing your faces today, and really looking forward to sharing the year with each of you.
Thanks, Susan.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Andy.
Thanks, Andrew. Thank you, Andrew. Thanks, Susan. Bye.